Hi, my name is Joseph, and I'm presenting the COVID-19 update for January 10th. We'll start off with the numbers. In Georgia, we just passed an unfortunate milestone of over 10,000 deaths due to COVID-19. We've also seen a surge in cases over the past month since November, really. And this is following Thanksgiving travel as well as Christmas and New Year's. In Augusta, we saw a record high hospitalizations this past week. My suggestion over the next few weeks is to be a little bit more careful if you can. Wear your mask in public, avoid large gatherings until the surge in new cases starts to decline. Moving on to our news stories, the United States Capitol, as you may have heard, was stormed by far-right Trump supporters this past week, protesting the election results. Members of Congress from both sides have come out to condemn the protests, and President Trump has officially conceded the election to President-elect Joe Biden finally. Hopefully we'll see protesters calm over the next few weeks as they begin to accept that President-elect Joe Biden will be the president soon. Moving on to our next news story, a new Japanese COVID-19 variant was discovered in 4 individuals who were traveling back to Japan from Brazil. If you watched our COVID update from last week, you'll know that we were reporting on a UK variant as well as a South African variant of COVID-19. Little is known about the Japanese and South African variants, but we know a little bit more about the UK variant. It is more infectious with younger individuals, so it will spread faster and infect more people under the age of 18. In addition, it was shown that the current vaccines are effective against this variant, which is great news. However, I will say that I would not be surprised if over the next year or two we see new variants of COVID-19 that are resistant to the vaccine. So we may not be out of the woods just yet. Moving on to our last story, it's about the vaccine deployment in Georgia. It is now entering the next phase of deployment with Governor Kemp declaring that it can be available for law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, and individuals aged 65 and above. In Augusta, I saw that it's being distributed at Craig Huden Elementary School, and there is a partnership with CVS, so it may be distributed there. However, if you are eligible for the vaccine, just make sure that it is in stock where you're trying to receive it. There have been long lines and shortages across the state as people rush to get the vaccine. In addition, I'd like to take a moment just to talk about the safety of the vaccine. I've heard family and friends wondering about how safe it is and whether there may be short-term and long-term effects of it. To talk about the short-term effects, one of the main concerns is whether or not the trials were rushed. The COVID-19 vaccines that are currently available have both undergone a phase 1, 2, and 3 trial, which any drug is required to take. The difference that you may see is that a normal drug may take years and years, 10 plus years, while this vaccine only took a few months. And the real difference there is that in a normal drug trial, there are phases of seeking funding, administrative, paperwork, all sorts of different issues that put a lot of yellow tape that just slows down the vaccine trial progression. While here it was like funding was already secured, and a lot of those paperwork were done as fast as possible. So it's gone through all the experimentation that a normal drug would have to go through and ensure that it is safe. It just avoided a lot of the back end sort of stuff like paperwork, really. The other issue that a lot of people talk about is the long-term effects. Since it is true, we don't know the long-term effects of this new vaccine. However, to that, I'd say that with COVID-19, we do know that it does have a 1 to 2% mortality rate, which is quite substantial. Additionally, hospitalizations may cause long-term complications that you may not expect. Additionally, we all know that many people lose their sense of smell, but there are some people who have still not regained that sense of smell. And there are some stories of people experiencing pericarditis and cardiac tamponade, which are serious symptoms from COVID-19 infection. So in my opinion, and the opinion of most healthcare officials, is that it is the best option to get the vaccine so we can stop the spread of COVID-19, since that would probably do more damage to you than the vaccine could ever. And even just this past week, I actually got my vaccine. So when it is available to you and you're eligible for it, I highly recommend that you try and get the vaccine. Moving on to our good news. A homeless man in Atlanta rescued 6 dogs and 10 cats at a shelter after it caught on fire. His heroic deeds were not left unnoticed, and people have already started a GoFundMe for him that has raised over $80,000. That's all for today's COVID-19 update. If you're interested in any of the stories, here are some of the links. Thank you for listening, and as always, I hope you subscribe to our channel so that we can continue to keep you up to date. Thank you for listening.